All right. What does a postmortem for a truly idiosyncratic event look like? Any different to more textbook investment thesis? Yes. It's very important to do postmortems, but here are some general guidelines. Wait a month or two before you do the postmortem. If you're too emotionally close to the failure as a PM or as an analyst, you're not really going to learn the lessons. You need to give a little bit of time. So as a PM, you got to make sure that the analyst does the postmortem because the last thing that you want to do, let me step back a second. The idea that has lost close to $40 billion for hedge funds was Valiant. And it happened, I believe, in 2016. $40 billion was lost in a single idea. I only know of four postmortems, despite hundreds of hedge funds lost that amount of money. I only know four postmortems that were done in that on that idea. Only four. By the way, the majority of them were wrong. We're supposed to be in an intellectually honest business, but yet most people are like, dude, just forget it. I wasn't involved. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Success is many fathers, failures an orphan in our business. Okay. So you got to give yourself a couple months. The second thing is don't do it solo. Okay. We have in our minds a key part of our personality called the editor. The editor is designed to forget your mistakes. So if you fuck up, you make a mistake. Okay. The second you don't pay attention, the editor in your mind comes in and wipes the evidence clean that you had anything to do with it. And you come back out, you're like, I didn't make a mistake. It was this guy. It was the environment. It was this. So you need somebody else. You need a thought partner to keep you honest of going through the mistake with you. It's very painful, very, very painful to do postmortems. I have a data guy that goes through a portfolio and he shows me my mistakes. And it's like, ooh, 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 that hurt, that hurt, that hurt. And it's like, but you need to do it. The third thing is you need to understand that your mistakes are not personal. They're there for you to learn. And don't whip yourself too hard. There's that whole argument going on right now between rumination and retard maxing. And it's being led by somebody I really admire, Mark Andreessen, where he says, don't think about your mistakes, just move on and keep doing it. But most people think that Mark is not being, he says introspection is a waste of time. I don't think he means that. I think he means rumination is a waste of time. If you sit there and you're ruminating, I fucked up, I'm a loser, I'm this, bro, let it go. No one cares. No one cares. Learn from it, move on. Make sure it doesn't happen again. Don't sit there and whip yourself Opus Dei style. It's a waste of time. Waste of time. But learn from it and move on. But you need to have that mindset. Next, you have to create a piece of content around the postmortem. Okay? And say what your lessons are and then present it to a team. Um, Idiosyncratic events that you can do nothing about. Maybe the mistake is we should be doing research on this future idiosyncratic events that could happen like that. Um, but postmortems are very powerful. Their pre-mortems are even more powerful, by the way. Before you make an investment, deciding, hey, let's visualize 5 years from now, we fucked up in this investment. Why did it happen? And then present it to a group and coming up with ways, very powerful. By the way, one thing that we learned from Sebastian Malaby's book, The Power Law, is that there are some firms that do the pre-parade, meaning, okay, 5 years from now, this thing's a multi-bagger. We're having a parade. Why was it a multi-bagger? And the guy says you need to do that because your loss aversion in a way can stop you from seeing the true potential of the idea. And we've adopted that practice. And it's kind of nuts how often so once you create that scenario, we say, what are the signposts that we would need to see to trigger one of these pre-mortem scenarios or pre-parade scenarios? And it's uncanny how often 5 months later something happens and you're like, whoa, pre-mortem just got triggered or pre-parade just got triggered. We need to be big or we need to get out.